All right, everyone. Monday's morning briefing on the Celtic way. I'm Hamish. We've got Tony and Ryan on with me. A full house, guys, to discuss the weekend's action and a really good weekend. I don't know. It wasn't a pick me up, was it? Because the team have been winning games recently, but it was certainly a wonderful afternoon. I've spoken to a number of people who were at the game and loved it. Ryan, would you go along with that? Was it a good afternoon?
I thought it was one of the best performances of the season. Yeah, everything that was good about Celtic was present, apart from maybe the first 10 minutes, maybe a 10-minute spell in the second half as well. But in terms of, I don't know about 90-minute performances, but about 75, 80 minutes, it was absolutely perfect from Celtic. I thought it was a collective performance rather than just individuals out there playing. They were all playing for each other. It was, just the perfect preparation for what's going to be a massive game in 6 days' time. Really looking forward to that already. Already there seems to be a bit of to and fro going on in the media between the two managers, or between one manager, because the other manager didn't even mention Rangers, just mentioned the fixture, and another manager got wound up by it. But I'm just looking forward to Saturday. But Saturday previous was brilliant as well. I thought Celtic were awesome.
You're a day out because we've only got 5 days.
5 days,
Ryan,
5
not
days.
6. So
that's because I was writing about something yesterday and I was saying it was 6 days. It's become ingrained into my head. 5 days to go. It's getting even closer. Wow, just looking forward to it.
Tony, it was a wonderful afternoon. For me, typified by the fact you could go through that entire team and have something positive to say about pretty much every player.
Yeah, I think it's... I'd written about it on Friday. It was all about the team collective, and we'd spoken about how this was the game everybody craved, the manager, the players and the fans, and it certainly turned out to be the case. Then there was that collective spirit and unity and harmony all on display on Saturday. And I said before, it's a powerful thing, that whole Celtic collective, and it's very hard to dislodge. It's very hard to play against that, especially when I think the great thing for me on Saturday was that the fans were right into it. Mm-hmm. It came across, the atmosphere was tremendous, and the atmosphere will only be better by next week's game because it's a derby. But that's what you wanted, and that tempo, and the Celtic players responded to that. And that second goal, if there's a better goal all season, and there might be a better goal in terms of, Matondo's colour or whatever, but if show me a better goal all season than that second one. From the minute it leaves Matt Oreli's foot to Kyogo's finish, it's technically superb from both players. Absolutely banging the money. Tremendous football goal. And I saw that Lawrence Shankland got the PFA Scotland Player of the Year. My immediate question would be, why? You just isolate that in microcosmic form, Matt Oreli's contribution on Saturday for that Kyogo goal, then that's your Player of the Year. But hey, it's voted for by fellow who they have seen something that we haven't, or they know something we don't. But yeah, Matt Oreli's Player of the Year for me, but hey, he didn't get it. So well done to Lawrence Shankland on that one. I guess he's had a good season scoring goals, but hey, nitpicking, of course. But yeah, I thought Saturday was excellent, and just a repeat. Hamish, that's what you would say this week, wouldn't it? Just a repeat of that.
Yeah, it sets the tone. I agree with you totally on the fact that, the support were really into it at the weekend, and I think that's going to be very important going forward, obviously with Saturday in mind, particularly. Right, okay, we might return. We might chat a little bit about the derby, because we're into derby week now, guys. We'll obviously do a fair bit of looking back as well at the weekend, but I think everything will be tinged with talking about the weekend as well, the weekend to come. That is, first of all, a big thanks to our sponsors of this video, MPH Boilers and Weissman. As you know, MPH Boilers are Scotland's very own award-winning installation team. Weissman are a global leader in the boiler industry. They've come together, and when you choose a Weissman boiler installed by MPH right now, you'll also get a free internet controller as well as your first year service for free. Yes, for free. So check them out. Links are in the description, etc., or will be very soon after this video. We've also got this still going.
Yep, 6 months of access for £1, and it's plus a free Kyogo Furuhashi print from renowned football artist made by Frankie Kyogo. Obviously got those 2 goals in the weekend, back on form at the perfect time at the business end of the season. If you want to get your hands on this free print that many people have already got their hands on and shared online, which we really appreciate, then please visit www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe and get involved. Yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant piece of art from Frankie, and if you do want to get involved, then just click that or type in that link and get involved. £1 for 6 months.
Kyogo's got 10 goals against Hearts now, more than any other club. 10 goals in 10 starts as well. An incredible record. And Saturday was the first time he scored more than 1 goal in a single game against Hearts. 7 goals against Rangers. They're second, top of the list. Where will we be in a week's time? I wonder. Will he be at double figures against Rangers as well? Are we hat-tricking? He's certainly in form, Tony.
Yeah, I think those 2 goals on Saturday were just a hallmark of, a predatory striker. We spoke about or it wasn't made a big deal about it, but Hatati's ball back in was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's on the money, and the wee man's alive, isn't he? And he's, he planked a header in there brilliantly, but just comes alive to these situations, just looks at Hatati and thinks, right, I'm getting in there. It doesn't happen by accident. And then the technique for the second goal, I know Matt Oreli's put it on his foot, but he's still got to dispatch it.
Yeah.
And he puts it where Xander Clark can't get it. Xander Clark's a big guy, and he just struggled to get down because it was so accurate. And he comes alive, doesn't he, in these kind of games? These are the ones that, 10 goals against Hearts and 10 starts tells you all. 7 goals against Rangers and all within about a year says it all too. And would you put it past him to be in double figures against Rangers after Saturday, the way he's playing?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, right, imagine, okay? But it's all about the service, Hamish. And we've always said it. If you supply Kyogo with the service, he will score you goals. It's, I'm not saying anything that any Celtic supporter doesn't realise. And, he was a Xander Clark save away from a hat-trick against Hearts.
Yeah,
when he
really
pushed the
save.
one, he dived to his right, and he could have had a hat-trick. And that shot was a similar goal to the goal that he scored when he took it to turn and swiveled and scored against Rangers. So, he scores similar types of goals. You've seen them, and he's still the best in the business in this country at doing that. And he's just hard to mark. And when he's in the mood, it's wonderful. We've just not seen it as much as we wanted this season. But thank goodness he's come alive at this time. And yeah, I don't bet against him scoring again on Saturday.
I mean, that second goal, that's the kind of run that anyone who goes to the games will see him make multiple times every match, and he quite often isn't picked out for whatever reason. The difference was on Saturday, Oreli saw the run, and see if you watch it, it all happens in a split second. Oreli sees the run, quick glance up, quick look back at his feet, delivers the ball. Kyogo, first time finish from a 35-40 yard immaculate pass. I mean, it was such a good goal. His first one, I think, so underrated as well. Again, if you watch it back, every Hearts player is either inside that box or just on the edge of the box. All of them there, all 11, yet Kyogo still finds space to nod in and make it look so easy. I just think his movement is, and to stay onside as well, I just think his movement is spectacular, and he had space to play into at the weekend, because Hearts kind of came out and had a bit of a go as we anticipated, and it was a good game. This coming weekend, it's going to be the same. I think Rangers need to come out and win that game. It's a must-win for Rangers this weekend, and I think Kyogo's going to have space to run in behind as well, Ryan, and hopefully we see some more of the same happening. People finding him.
I can't see him not scoring on Saturday. He's just he looks imperious once again. I just can't. If he gets the service that he was getting from Matt Oreli and Rio Hatati respectively, if he gets that, he will get goals. That's a guarantee. He brings a guarantee of goals if he is given the service. It's not been the players. Yeah, he's a guarantee of goal. He really is. It's such a cliche, but if you give him the service that he needs and he strives and he thrives for, he will score. that put him in that. He couldn't miss. I know it would have been a dreadful miss if he did, but he literally couldn't miss with that Matt O'Reilly pass. It was so perfect, and the finish is good as well because he doesn't need to put any pace on it. He just slots it past Sander Clark. Goalkeeper has no chance for any of the goals on Saturday. I thought he had a good game otherwise, but he had no chance for the 3 goals that he conceded. Kyogo's always been this. I don't think he really goes down to form at all. I don't think he's a form player. I think it's just all about the service or the form of the service that he's given. Because if you give him that chance, he's going to score. It's just all about finding that service and making sure that the service is accurate to the player. Matt O'Reilly's that's probably pass of the season for me. If there's a better pass from now until the end of the season from Celtic, then I can't wait to see it because it was right on the money. Kyogo is always going to make that run. He's been doing that all season. He just hasn't had the numbers to go with his hard working runs. But yeah, it was just a perfect goal. Route 1 can be so beautiful at times. Just one pass in and then bang right through the Hearts goalkeeper into the back of the net. I was just delighted with the way everything went on Saturday. The crowd were up for it. You could tell very, very early on. There was a wee bit of nerves in the crowd, I will say. There was a bit of trepidation. People knew how big the game was, and they were geeing the team up in it. I think after a while, the Celtic players just started to really feed off of it. Great moment when Callum McGregor wins that ball back after running about 40, 50 yards. And even Brendan Rodgers celebrates it as well. People were saying, I didn't actually see that, but on second recollection, I guess, or when people were talking about it, I guess that was true. It was brilliant to see that. There seems to be a real energy between the supporters, the players, and the manager at the moment. A real siege mentality. It's got to be that way from now until Saturday and beyond. Because if they get the job done on Saturday, then for me, anyway, it's league over. It's one more game, one more win, one more final push, and then they'll get to where they need to be.
So if Kyogo is maybe top of our lists from the weekend, Tony, who else is floating around the top in terms of how well they played in your eyes at the weekend?
I really thought that the midfield were terrific, all of them, and I thought that was a big. That was a big reason why Celtic won the football match. You could see, and you saw Callum McGregor. Ryan pointed out that run, and I think that's what pleased the manager greatly, that late on in the game he was still doing that, and he was certainly looking the part again, wasn't he, Callum McGregor?
Yeah.
Hatate is growing game by game, isn't he? And I have to single out Joe Hart as well, who I thought made 3 massive contributions, with his save from Cammy Devlin. And then he was coming out and anticipating stuff. And I said in the instant analysis, he seems to be on a personal crusade to win this double. And I like that. But, I mean, it was a brilliant save from Cammy Devlin, one-handed, a big moment in the game. And really underrated save, because when you look back at it, it's cracking, because Cammy Devlin's got it sweet. And it's a strong hand. He's not kind of beat it down and into an oncoming striker. He has pushed it away, and and I've always thought he was a brilliant shot stopper. You just wish he would command the box more, but he was starting to punch things and do stuff, So again, I'm liking what I'm seeing there as well, and I always feel when Cameron Carter-Vickers is a team, I breathe easily when I see Cameron Carter-Vickers. And I think Scales was buoyed by his new contract. I thought Scales concentrated on the job. Because Shankland wasn't really seen, was he? So they cut the supply to Shankland. They never really got... They got a couple of chances. They'd won in the first few seconds. I think that was the one Matt O'Reilly blocked, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And then Joe Hart's had a couple of, moments where he's did very, very well. So lots of things to be pleased about the team. And then even when Maeda came on, he instantly makes an impact, doesn't he? And you're just thinking, great, he'll be in for next week from the start. So lots to enthuse about.
Yeah, I'll add 2 more in. I thought James Forrest had a great game. Brendan Rodgers waxing lyrical about him after the game. Said it was a throwback to Rodgers' first spell at the club. I don't know what you guys think, but James Forrest to me looks like stronger than he ever has before.
Yep.
Seems like players were bouncing off him at the weekend. And everything he's doing is really assured. And I know he's had a few moments against Rangers, right? I think he scored 2 goals, both really memorable goals. He's had some big moments in these derbies, but maybe not as many as we would have liked, and as many as James Forrest would have liked. I think he's going to do something big next week. I sense there's something happening with James Forrest. I think he looks as good as he's looked in a long time, and he's almost changed his game a bit, but also you still see the famous James Forrest things, but he looks stronger to me. The other player I just want to bring up is Alistair Johnson. Thought he had a really good game, especially second half, and I've not kind of heard his name mentioned too much. I agree totally that Joe Hart was excellent.
I thought,
sorry, Ryan.
Sorry, I kind of waxed lyrical about him on the post match, and I did a TCW Star Man as well that's available on the website now. But I thought that was Matt O'Reilly's best performance in a Celtic top. Genuinely, I thought he was that good. But somebody made a good point to me on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. It's the first game that Matt O'Reilly's dominated rather than go in and out of a game. You know he's a good player on the ball, but everything that encompassed his game, he was dominating. He was good at winning the ball back, good at making passes, made a great assist for Kyogo's goal, a great penalty. His tackling's good, his blocks are good. He's just becoming a more and more complete football player every single week. And I think it's just building up to what could be a massive performance against Rangers on Saturday. If he really wants to solidify himself as one of Europe's hottest talents, and I think he is one of Europe's hottest talents at this moment in time, it's no wonder why teams like Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan want him. It's because he's 22, 23 years old and he's so assured on the ball. He's so good at so many things. It's time for this massive breakout to happen if it hasn't happened already. I think a game against Rangers on Saturday could be that showcase for him. I think he could completely explode in all the right ways.
I just wanted to mention a comment. Patrick, I think, is commented in a couple of times, just saying, because I obviously said about a must-win for Rangers at the weekend. He says, Hamish, it's a must-win for Celtic. This weekend is not a must-win for Celtic. It's a game we want to win and we really hope we win. It's not a must-win. It's only a must-win for one team. And the reason I say that is, if we don't win and it's a draw this weekend, we're still 3 points clear. We're still big favourites to win the league. There's only one team this weekend that's a must-win. I think that's very different from saying, Celtic aren't going to go for the victory. Obviously, we're all hoping Celtic win. I think the team are obviously going to come out and try and win the game. That's not in doubt. But it's not a must-win. We've managed to get ourselves in a position here where it's only a must-win for Rangers this weekend. Or do you guys feel the same way? Do you disagree with me? What do you think?
It's must not lose for me. If you lose, then it's right back in it, and then you're putting pressure on yourself going to Rugby Park, a place that Celtic have struggled, especially this season, at getting results at. It's a must not lose, but I don't want them thinking like that. I want them thinking it's a must win, even though in their heads,
these fans can say.
I think they'll go. I think they'll go for it. I think both teams will go for it. I think it's going to be fiery and that. But Celtic seem to have the bit between their teeth, and they've got to use that to their advantage. This is the most prolonged period, I think, of good form Celtic have shown since the start of the season, and they've hit form at the right time. Players are hitting form at the right time. Kyogo's back scoring. Matt O'Reilly's back to dominating games. Hatate's back to being dynamic in the middle. Even Callum McGregor's getting back to his best. You get a settled back line as well. Don't want to be making any changes now from now until the end of the season. If there's no injuries, it's got to be that back four. Just feels like everybody's now on the same page, and it's come at the perfect time. A clean bill of health. Daizen Maeda back. You know what thankless task he's going to do at the weekend. But then again, he might score like he did last time at Ibrox. But I just think the team's in a really, really good spot at the moment. They seem to have a siege mentality, and I think that'll all work in Celtic's favour on Saturday. I've got to say, I am confident about Saturday, and I know it's famous last words, but I'm optimistic with the way that this team are playing at the moment. They're playing for their manager. They're playing for the supporters on the ground. There seems to be a real energy between the crowd, the players and the manager, and I think it's all going to work for Celtic on Saturday. I've just got a good feeling about things at the moment.
It's the ramifications of a win. If you win, you more or less win the title. So 100%. That's the way you handle it. Ignore the noise, the must win, mustn't lose. Just go and do your job and see if you turn up and you play. Then that's why Celtic supporters are feeling confident. There's confidence in the manager, confidence in the team, and they believe that they can win, right? So it's just the ramifications of a win. You more or less win the title with a victory on Saturday, and if you can do that, then you'll be in a wonderful place. We're in a good place just now. People can build it up whatever way they want. Nothing changes with Celtic. Just do what they've been doing, and if they can replicate anything like the levels that they produced on Saturday against Hearts, then you will probably feel good about yourself at the end of the Rangers game. But just ignore everything else. It's going to be built up into, well, you don't need to be told. All sorts of people are going to have their say. Ourselves were having our say as well. But just focus. And I think there's a laser focus from the manager. And it was showed in his comments that seemed to have upset people. I can't, maybe it's me, but, I can't read into those comments why people are getting upset and banging up, saying, bang that up in dressing room walls and all that. And, it's just it's madness. You spoke to me off air, Hamish, about a famous man, Bertie Auld, who used to say, we trained hard all week and then went out there and we had fun. It's a similar comment to that, isn't it? That's the comment that you spoke about, yeah?
Yeah, I think it was Bertie Auld, yeah.
So...
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm sure it was that made that comment. So, we work for 5 days and then get the weekend off to play football.
Yeah. Correct. So it was like that, wasn't it? And he was talking about Celtic Park being on fire as well and, that kind of stuff. So, because he knows he relishes these moments. So I'm at pains to understand the thought process there from the other side of the city's manager. And if I'm a supporter of the other side of the site, I'm like, don't bother mentioning it. Don't give it house room. Focus on yourselves. But I'm glad he did.
Yeah, I agree totally. I always think, see with these quotes, source, and this goes for anything even away from sport, but source the original recording if possible, rather than just reading the quotes, because words written down, you guys know, words written down are very different to how they sound. The words written down are fine, by the way. He's not disrespected Rangers in any way, like Clement says. But see, if you listen, I think Clyde Super Scoreboard have put it up in their Twitter. I think that's the one that's gone viral. It's a throwaway comment right at the end of what he's making. The general comment he's making is, we're getting to where we want to be, but we've still got work to do, and then we'll have a bit of fun next week. He said the same ahead of Hearts. He said, I'm really looking forward to getting back to Celtic Park next week. Last week after the Dundee game, I didn't see any of the outcry there. I'll need to... we don't know this for sure. I listened to Philip Clement's post-match press conference yesterday because I wanted to just hear what he'd said, and then I watched his Sky Sports interview. That's how boring my day was, guys. I sourced some stuff from Philip Clement. But anyway, I think what's happened is it's been brought up to him at his press conference. Brendan Rodgers has said this, and he kind of said, oh yeah, that's disrespectful, etc. And then he's gone and done his Sky Sports interview, and he's volunteered that information. He's not been asked about that in the Sky interview, right at the end. And he said, I heard yesterday they're going to have fun, so we're going to have fun also. So the words of Brendan Rodgers have clearly been going on in his mind between the press conference and his Sky Sports interview. So I think that's very interesting, that Rodgers is literally rent-free in Clement's head. And I just think it's great. I just think it's going to be very interesting this weekend. I agree, Tony. Win in the league is pretty much done. That's the opportunity the team have got on Saturday. The point I would make is that things are still very tight. We're only 3 points clear. If things weren't to go to plan on Saturday, and if Rangers won that game, you're looking at a 50-50 thing over the last two matches. So we're not in the clear yet. We've still got a huge match, but it's one match really. Celtic turn up and beat Rangers on Saturday. We then just need a point, basically, if that, from our final two matches.
Yeah, I think if it goes to form, then I think Celtic win this game on Saturday. I did watch Rangers' game against Kilmarnock yesterday, just simply due to the fact that Rangers and Kilmarnock are the two next teams that Celtic will play in the league. So I wanted to watch and gauge how those teams are doing. It wasn't a 4-1 game, I don't think, at all between the two sides. I think the VAR had a front and centre view of the action, especially that first 21 minutes. I actually clicked on it about half an hour in, and I seen that Rangers were 1-0 down, but Kilmarnock had 10 men. I was like, what has happened here? So I needed to go back and watch everything that had happened in the game. I just feel like Celtic are the team that are in form at the moment and are playing the good football, playing the more expansive and free-flowing football. Celtic play to the way that we know that they can play, and they have been playing in recent weeks, particularly in that last game against Hearts. If they play like they did on this Saturday, then I don't think they'll have too many problems, because they've got the better players, the better manager, and I think it'll show on the day. But form, it's such a cliche, but form goes out the window in these games. Anything can happen when these two teams meet each other. Celtic just need to play their game, don't play the occasion, and just get the result. If it's a draw, then so be it, no damage done. But if it's a win, then it's a great feeling. But it's up to them to just make sure that they don't get beat on the day and try their best to get that win, the win that they crave, that will put daylight between the two sides. Because I think there is quite a bit between the two sides in terms of play style and current form as well. It's closer than what it should be, is what I'm trying to say.
It's going to be massive, Tony. I mean, we can talk about it now. It's going to be such a long week. It's going to be such a huge match, and I know we can't officially clinch it on Saturday, but as we say, a victory, and you will have 60,000 celebrating another league title.
Yeah, and I think you just don't get carried away with all the noises. I've said it. I just think you focus on the job at hand, and you win, you put yourself in a wonderful position. But make no mistake, you're in a game that they're coming to more or less prevent you from trying to do that. And yep, the odds might be stacked against them. Celtic are hitting a bit of form. You look at the squad, you would say Celtic have got better players, yada, yada, yada. But you've just got to concentrate on focus on the job at hand. And I think the opportunity to put real daylight between Rangers and themselves in the last two games, I don't think this group of players and the manager will let that pass. And again, I said it before Saturday's game as well, you might have to put up with some adversity along the way, either by going a goal down, possibly even a man down, whatever happens, but you've got to deal with it. And I think the manager will have all of these things, preparation. There'll all be all these kind of adverse effects that could happen to the Celtic team. The manager will have them well drilled on what to do if such a scenario occurs. And I just think this group of players just know what's at stake and how to handle it. And that's why I say everybody's going to play their part as well. Saturday, in terms of atmosphere, but manager was right about one thing: it will be on fire. It'll be tremendous, and bring it on. But we can talk about it because it's our profession and it's what we do. But everything else, you just need to blank out and just have a. I think he said it, wasn't it? The kind of the comments that led up to that were, we'll have a good week's training. He's got the business head on, right? He just knows he's telling these guys, this is the one you're waiting for as well. Hearts, you were waiting for that. You're now waiting for this, and you've got a tremendous opportunity here to go and grasp it.
But I also think actually that we'll have a bit of fun comment sets quite a good tone. That's kind of the tone you want. You want people to be really looking forward to going along on Saturday, and rather than, I don't think if the stadium's really nervous on Saturday, that doesn't help Celtic. That helps Rangers with only our fans in the stadium. You want the stadium to be rocking and up for it, and kind of really looking forward to what's going to happen. I think that's the kind of atmosphere we had on Saturday, from what I've heard from people that were there before the game. It was electric. I think it's only going to be louder on Saturday, and I think if the fans have a huge part to play, turn the heat up in this Rangers team, they won't deal with it.
Just a second, that was his message. Don't be nervous coming into this game on Saturday. That was the ... there, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy it. These are moments and occasions to be enjoyed.
Yeah,
Easy for Brendan Rodgers to say. I guess he's got a pitch side view, and I don't. If he doesn't feel nerves going into these games, then so be it. He must not be human or that human, because they are nervous games. It was a nervy sort of first 20-30 minutes against Hearts on Saturday, so I can only think of how nervy it's going to be against Rangers. It's a title decider. It goes a long way into deciding where the title will go, or whether or not that it will get elongated into the game against Kilmarnock and potentially St Mirren. I think it will be nervous. I think it'll be 50-50, because I think the fans will be absolutely buzzing and ready for it. But there will be that nerves because there is so much on the game. It's really tight between the two teams, especially if Rangers do, not the unthinkable, but if they were to get a win, then it's really, really close in the league. But I don't even want to entertain that at this point. It's going to be one hell of an atmosphere, isn't it? I thought Saturday was good, but this Saturday is going to be something else. I think it's going to be the loudest that Celtic Park's been out with a European game in years. It's going to be absolutely, maybe since that 2022 game against Rangers, the 3-0 game.
That was the peak. You're never going to reach that noise level just because it was a night game and all that was on that. But
I'd like to see them try, Hamish, though. That's the thing. I'd like to see the supporters try and see if they can better that.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of best atmosphere I've ever heard. Even more so than any Champions League game. That night was amazing. No Rangers fans that night. No Rangers fans this Saturday. Let's make it as hostile as possible. Danny's saying, when do Rangers announce the referee for the game? I think the SFA will be doing that, possibly in conjunction with Rangers. No, we can't say that, can we? We can't say that. Tomorrow, I think at 10 usually it comes out. It's just as we're going live, so we'll bring that to you nice and early tomorrow. Any thoughts on who it will be, guys? Any inkling out there?
Well, I call him.
That would go
Nick
down
Walsh,
well.
I think he'll get it. Nick Walsh seems to get these sort of key games, and I don't think they'll go down the Don Robertson or John Beaton route again. I think it'll be Nick Walsh, either Nick Walsh or Willie Collum. Although Willie Collum's not really been doing Rangers games recently.
I think he'll be involved somewhere. Willie Collum, we might not get. We might be in the VAR studio, possibly.
Yeah, I think he was VAR last game, was he?
Willie Collum, was he?
The last derby, was he? It rings a bell. Although,
yeah, I think he was. Yeah. So we'll see. But again, you go back to it. You're hopeful that the officials don't matter and Celtic bring their A game, and if they bring their A game, then they won't matter. But I think if you were to canvass every Celtic supporter and say, where are you most worried, they would say that, wouldn't they? I think they would say the officials and who's in the VAR is their biggest worry for Celtic Park. I don't think that's an outlandish statement. I think that's just what they would think. Now, we've said that referees don't matter, they shouldn't matter, but they are mattering and have mattered in a few cases recently. So, but again, I'm very confident in this manager and this group of players to stick to the game plan and do what needs to be done and win by all means necessary.
Just very, very quickly, I know we're running out of time, but I thought some of the refereeing decisions on Saturday, and you can talk about them because it won't be sour grapes because Celtic won the game, especially incredulous. I think it's incredible how the Lawrence Shankland handball actually went to VAR. I think that's I don't know, is shambolic the right
VAR
word?
Does that's VAR because a referee knows they have VAR to lean back on, and they shouldn't be the case. It was a joke.
No, I know. It was everybody down that side of the stadium. You could hear about 10,000-15,000 people screaming for it. It was that obvious. Yeah. For me, it's a second yellow as well, but that's a different story. I think Shankland was lucky to be on the park, but I made that point in the post match. It was just a good performance. Referees shouldn't matter on Saturday. If Celtic play to the best of their abilities, they will win the game, and it's all about just making sure that no sideshows happen. I know they can still happen through weird and wonderful ways, but Celtic play to their best, and I don't think the referee will matter on Saturday.
But again, you go back to it, and I back the Celtic manager 100% on this. See, if you're not seeing that, you're incompetent and you shouldn't be the man in the middle. If you're not seeing that at first sight, you shouldn't need VAR to bail you out for that. He's done that. He's put his hand up like that. I mean, what's Clancy seen? What's he not seen? So
Yeah.
And
Imagine the days before VAR. That wouldn't have been given. I mean, mad.
That's the optics. That's the optics. The fact that if VAR wasn't there, then that wouldn't have been given. That would have been in highlight reels for months on end. How that wasn't given, because that's the way the
VAR.
optics look. I know that they're relying on VAR to sort of bail them out in that situation. But if you take VAR and play it the same way, Kevin Clancy has missed one of the most obvious handballs you will ever see. It shouldn't be like that.
To quote
Good old
Jock
VAR,
Stein, I think Jock Stein famously said it, the eye sees what it wants to see. Leave you with that.
Yeah, indeed. Right, Hazel saying Calmac is most definitely back. Yeah, I think huge part from the weekend. That run back was amazing, and the reaction at Celtic Park was fabulous. I feel a lot better about Callum McGregor, and glad that Rodgers and the medical team and McGregor were able to sort that out. Hopefully he can play at the same level on Saturday, and it'll really stand us in good stead. Just briefly, in one word, guys, Maestro saying, do you think Maida starts? One word, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
He's got to. He actually looked brilliant when he came on. He looked as if he'd gained a yard of pace when he came on. There was a great run that he did near the end that he beat about 2 players. I was like, what has happened? He's in. I'm convinced that Daizen Maeda was made in a factory somewhere. He's an anomaly of a football player. He gets judged differently to other players, but that's just because of what he brings on the defensive end and he's running. He's a one of a kind, honestly. It's crazy what he does on a football field. His technical ability can leave a lot to be desired, but my goodness, you can't not have him in the team. He's probably one of the first names on the team sheet for Rangers. He just brings so much, and his response that he got from the crowd when he came on was an absolutely brilliant moment.
Yeah.
And he actually brought that up on his Twitter account as well, and said that he was actually moved. It probably takes a lot for Daizen Maeda to be moved, considering he's this emotionless player on the park that just has one job, and it's to help Celtic. But if he was moved, then it shows he has a real good connection between himself and the fans.
It's a wonderful
gives the whole place a
answer there,
boost.
Ryan.
Was it so?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful one-word answer.
Very long word.
You can't get one word when it's Maeda.
Yeah, I think just starting him on Saturday gives the whole stadium a boost, and we know what it does to a certain captain as well. Yeah, right, okay, we've got a whole week to build up to this game. Plenty of chat we haven't even touched on today. But we've got, at least 4 more videos, well, I do anyway, to do all that ahead of the game. You guys will be back later on in the week. And hopefully, well, all you wonderful people as well. One final shout out for this offer: 6 months of access for £1, and you get a free Kygo Furuhashi print from renowned football artist made by Frankie. Thanks everyone for tuning in, spending a little bit of your Monday morning or evening with us, and we'll catch you this